Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be making our Lois Halphinales, and we're going to be slapping them onto our armors in order to increase our potency and all of our overall stats. So the very first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the limited time urgent quest, or the Griffin. Basically, what I said in the previous video was that we would get double drops, but you would just run it once. That is actually incorrect. For whatever reason, Sega decided, hey, let's have double UQ and double drops. So that means every time a UQ comes up, you're literally guaranteed like 12 Bastia capsules, because you get 6 per run. You get between 4 to 6, but because we have the rare drop rate campaign, which gives us 250% rare drop rate if you're free to play, and 300% if you're a premium member, it's pretty much guaranteed that you're always gonna get 6 per run, so you get 12 Bastias every time a UQ pops up, which is pretty awesome. And because of that, as you can see here, I did manage to obtain 100 Bastia capsules, which is enough to make 2 of our Lois Halphinales. Now, do keep in mind, you are gonna need a little bit more than just the Bastia capsules, as we can see right here. When you head over to Lois Halphinales, you are gonna need 50 Bastia capsules, but you also need 10 Lux Halphinales as well as 10 Magis Halphinales. The bottleneck for a lot of people nowadays is going to be the Magis Halphinales. As you can see right here, I only have 24 of them, thus I can only make 2, but I'm also short on the Bastia capsules to make any more. But these do drop fairly often in Lucille Exploration, as well as the limited time urgent quest, so personally I'm not too worried about it. However, if you really wanted to, you could purchase these off the market. You can literally purchase everything off the player shop if you want, even the Lois Halphinale. But nevertheless, we're going to be crafting 2 of them. Now, something that I need to remind everyone, because I realize a lot of people have forgotten, is the N Weapon Badge Exchange Shop over here. Remember, you can exchange for 5 Magis Halphinales with Weapon Badge A's. You get Weapon Badge A's for running the limited time urgent quest. Every run gives you 10 of these, so you will have quite a bit, especially if you've been running the limited time UQ at all. So make sure that you actually spend all your Weapon Badge A's in order to pick up your Magis Halphinales. And on top of that, there are plenty of other high value items over here that you can also pick up, such as the Magis Gladius Souls. So do make sure that you actually exchange all your weapon badges in order to pick up all of these goodies over here, because they are pretty nice. But with that being said, we're going to be slapping our Lois Halphinales onto our armors. You can see over here we have 3 pieces of armor, but unfortunately we only have 2 Lois Halphinales, so we're only going to be able to upgrade 2 pieces of armor. But the main thing that we want to look at is, of course, our potency. You can see right now we're at 477 potency, and then after all the upgrades, we'll see what potency we end up with. So the very first thing, we're going to add augments over here. We're going to click on our armor, and we're going to add in 1 capsule of the Lois Halphinale. Click confirm, and then we're going to select all the different augments that we wanted. Click on start a fixed augment, say yes, and then we're going to pop in a 20% success rate and a protection. Now, the reason why I'm using the N augment item protection is because, first of all, I have 81 of these, and second of all, I'm also gambling over here with a 27%, because it's a 7% success rate with 1 capsule, and then we have a 20% booster. Thus, we're gambling over here, and hopefully this sticks, and boom. Unfortunately, it failed, so we're gonna have to try that again. And I literally just keep gambling like this over and over and over until it finally sticks. Again, we got another protection, 27%, and here we go. Boom, fails. And we just keep trying and trying and trying until we finally get it to stick. Now, as for the order over here, this is really up to you. I just like to do it in a very specific order. Basically, I like to put like the expensive capsules near the top and then the least expensive near the bottom, even though that doesn't really matter nowadays, especially since all of these capsules are pretty easily obtainable because, well, they all drop in the Ultra Realm combat zone. Anyway, another 27%. Here we go. Nope, failed one more time. Here we try again. So, statistically speaking, this should totally work the next time, right? Like that's how probability works, right, guys? I'm pretty sure everyone in the comment section is probably screaming at me saying, Carol, that is not how math works, but I don't care. I make my own rules over here, and I say this is how math works. So we gamble again, 27%, and boom. See, the mathed out. And that totally was logic-based and not pure luck. Anyway, we managed to get it. As you can see, we get 58% melee potency on this armor versus the old armor, which is 56.5. So yes, we did gain a potency increase. Now we got to do this on the second piece of armor over here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. And here we go, another 27%, and boom, nope, it failed. We just got to try it again. When you fail, you just try again. And here we go, another 27%, and oh, we just gotta try one more time. Well, technically, like, if we follow Kero's math, basically we're gonna fail this time, and then we're gonna get a success on the next time. That is if we follow the Kero logic of mathematics over here, which obviously is not very logic-based and is BS-based. But as you can see, we did fail, as I called it. And this one is going to be a success, you know? Through the power of absolute BS and pure luck, this attempt will be successful. And I'm going to show you that right here. As we can see here, we're going to pop in another 20% booster and protection. And here we go. Success. Okay, I lied. As I said, it was based off BS, so unfortunately, the math did not math out, so we gotta try that again. Now, totally mathematically speaking, this is a 100% success rate. As you can see right there, it failed again. God dang it. Listen, it's all about visualization, okay? If you visualize the success and you can will it into existence, you know? That's how it works, right? That's how it works. So we just need to visualize a success, right? Success. What? How did that work? How did that work? That's total BS. But okay, you know, I'm not going to complain. We got it onto the armor. We're good to go. All right. So we got both armors over here with our Lois Halphinales. This one, unfortunately, is not upgraded yet. But let us take a look at our stats now. We are at 488. So we went from 477 melee potency to 488. So 11% potency increase over here. That is pretty awesome. For those who don't understand, like, why I suddenly jumped to 488 from 477, even though I only added like 2% potency from my armors, is because potency is multiplicative. So yeah, stat sheet number looks bigger and damage number gets bigger, so that is pretty awesome. But of course, our journey is not done yet. We're still farming for our crest cubes in order to make our Zenith weapon. I will make that video eventually when I do get enough crest cubes, or if I just get a crest drop. You never know, Sega might bless me with a Fixa 5 Fatale crest katana. That would be glorious if that dropped, and it would save me a lot of crest cubes, you know. I'm currently at 6 crest cubes, so we still need to farm like 9 more, so well, we'll get there eventually, hopefully, I don't know. And other than that, of course, we need to continue to farm our Bastia capsules. We need another 100 more, and then we also need all of our Magis Halphinales in order to craft the last 2 capsules that we need for our last piece of armor, and then hopefully for our new Zenith weapon when we eventually get that. And when we combine all of that together, we're looking at like 500 and something potency. That is pretty much the goal. Maybe it's like 505, 510. I don't really know the exact math, but we're gonna break the 500% potency barrier, that is for sure, if I just slap in 2 more Lois Halphinales. But don't forget, next week we actually have Crimson Realm rolling in again, and along with Crimson Realm, we are getting another new capsule, the Tetra Trial. So that is another big upgrade, which will be replacing our Giga Trials, and we'll get even more potency. Maybe we can even hit maybe 550. I don't think we'll hit that high, but I think we will be at like 520, 530, somewhere within that range should be obtainable with the upgrades from the Giga Trial to the Tetra Trial. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, ever since Hamazaki stood in, basically every update there has been some sort of gear chase, which definitely is an improvement to the game, as for players like myself who care a lot more about gear over fashion, there's just always something for me to farm for. Now, of course, the process sometimes is pretty excruciating, especially especially when certain modifiers in Lucille, for example, just aren't very favorable, such as the sidestep day. That was pretty goddamn awful for me personally, because I didn't want to run 3 days of sidestep, you know? I need a little bit of variety in order to mix things up.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel, it really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.